Hello and welcome to this episode of Ways to Change the Workplace with myself, Prina Shah. I love what I do. I'm a global leadership coach, a consultant, a trainer, a keynote speaker, a podcaster. I help you to develop your leaders, your teams, and I help you to optimize your organizational cultures. I'm here to help you find ways to change your workplace. Why? Because we spend more time in our waking day at work than we do with our loved ones. It has to be a good place to be. So in this podcast, you can expect a mix of interviews with amazing thought leaders and then some solo episodes from myself as well. Strap yourselves in. Hello, and welcome to this solo episode of the Ways to Change Your Workplace podcast with me, your host, Prina Shah. And it is a massive week for me. I am launching my book, which is called Make Work Meaningful, How to Create a Culture That Leaves a Legacy this week. It is all happening. If you haven't heard about it, where have you been? And if you're listening in the future, then hey, I hope the book has stood the test of time. It is a super practical book, and that's what I want to talk to you about today in this podcast. So, let me tell you more about the book. Make Work Meaningful. It's really about helping leaders and teams and executives to move away from chasing empty achievements and instead to focus on what's truly important. I dive into something that I have called the achievement and legacy paradox, where you might be hitting every milestone, getting that promotion, but you're still feeling like there's something missing. For leaders, it's a reminder that success isn't just about numbers or titles. It's about creating a workplace where people can find meaning and feel connected to the work that they do. In the book, I provide practical tools, not just theories, for leaders to craft a culture where purpose and impact are at the center. It's not just about the job title, it's about what kind of mark that you want to leave. So whether you're an executive member, a leader, a team member, or a change agent of any sort within the workplace, then this book is for you. So, Make Work Meaningful is a journey through the often conflicting emotions that we experience in the workplace. It's the tension between success and fulfillment that we all have, between ambition and meaning that's all within us as well. Many of us, myself included, have reached milestones in our careers only to feel a deep sense of emptiness or disconnect. We chase success, accolades, and promotions, but at what cost? So there's a duality in the workplace that we don't talk about enough. The excitement of achievement on one hand, and the nagging sense that something more profound is missing on the other hand. The book comes from my own reckoning with that dichotomy. I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of so many leaders and teams that I've supported. We are constantly pulled between the need to achieve and the desire to make a lasting and meaningful impact. And it's here, in this space between these conflicting drives, that Make Work Meaningful was born. It's a guide for leaders to move past the surface level wins and dig deeper into the kind of work that not only brings success, but leaves a legacy. This book is for executives, leaders. You can use it as a team, as a project team, and definitely for change agents. So, we're not there when it comes to meaningful work yet, right? That's why I wrote the book. Many leaders and organizations still prioritize short-term gains over long-term fulfillment. That's why we're not there yet. Too often, they're focused on the next promotion, the next target, and they miss the deeper opportunity to build a work environment where people feel truly valued and find real meaning in what they do. The system that is the workplace, is often set up to pit us against each other rather than to help us to work in harmony. So, pitting us against each other, let me give you some examples. Performance reviews that rank employees against one another. that fosters competition rather than collaboration, targets and metrics that measure output over impact, leaving little room for creativity or connection. Leaders are often rewarded for quick wins, ignoring the long-term cultural damage that can be caused. A lack of investment in meaningful employee development, and cultures where stress and burnout are seen as inevitable rather than something to actively prevent. Decision making driven by fear or pressure from the top rather than by a shared sense of purpose and values. So that's why we're not there yet when it comes to making work meaningful. There's also a tendency to treat organizational culture and employee development and employee engagement as soft or secondary concerns. But these aren't nice to haves, they are the foundation of a truly meaningful workplace. So, as I explore in the book, creating a culture of significance requires intentionality. So it's more than success. It's about crafting a legacy that resonates long after you've moved on. So I've got some examples from my book Make Work Meaningful. I have a case study of a fictional rudderless CEO, a leader who struggled to align their personal values with their role, leading to dissatisfaction and stagnation. I have a really excellent case study in Make Work Meaningful about an amazing leader, the Whiz Kid, who was brought in to bring about some efficiencies within the workplace. And they made those efficiencies and royally messed it up. So, this person was a high flying executive who, in the name of efficiency, removed lots of perks for employees, and they failed to see what the cultural and relational value of the cuts that they made was. And then I talk about the fallout that came from that and what you can do from it as well. There's lots in the book. There's a really positive case study from a real life CEO whose name is Anthony Vuletta, and I share his approach to culture change and culture transformation. He is a leader who went beyond organizational culture surveys, and he focused on the daily moments that truly matter to employees, helping them to create a meaningful work environment. And I really break down his formula. So there are some organizations that can and have absolutely moved towards meaningful work. I've got a couple of case studies in the book as well of such organizations. So if you're listening to this podcast and thinking, oh, what can I do to make work more meaningful for yourself or for your organization? First off, obviously, buy my book. It's called Make Work Meaningful: How to Create a Culture That Leaves a Legacy. Also, I'm self-publishing, so I would love it if you could leave me a genuine review on Amazon, because that then highlights my book to other people as well. And I really want to make work less shitty together. That's why I need your help. So please leave me a review after you've bought the book. I will really, really value that. So, in terms of what else could you do? One simple but transformative question you can ask yourself or your team tomorrow is, what legacy are we truly building here? And is it one that we're going to be proud of? So this isn't just about hitting the next deadline or meeting your quarterly targets. It's really about stepping back and asking, is the work that we are doing today something that will matter in the long run? When we stop chasing short-term gains and start thinking about the deeper impact of our actions, something really shifts within us and within our teams and within our organizations. Suddenly, work stops being just a series of tasks and becomes an opportunity to create meaning, to leave a mark that will outlast us, ideally. Imagine if your team could look back years from now and say, we didn't just get the job done, we did something that mattered. That's the kind of shift that fuels not just motivation, but a sense of purpose that can radically transform a workplace. So it's about inviting people to care beyond the immediate, and when they do, the possibilities are endless. The book is super practical. I am guiding you through it. You have actions to do as well throughout the book. So I really want to hear from you about how the book is serving you. And I am also giving the book to organizations if they want to order it as a bulk order. So if you want to order it as a bulk order and you want a business case, so what is the business case for making work meaningful? Because this often too often falls in the fluffy camp. So to that, I would say fluffy, hardly. Meaningful work is a backbone of sustainable success. When people find purpose, they're not just ticking boxes, they're actually invested in what they're doing. And that investment shows up in performance, and fewer people would have checked out. Isn't that what we want? Engagement will skyrocket. When work matters, motivation follows. Engaged employees don't just show up, they contribute. By focusing on the long-term impact rather than just the day-to-day tasks, you'll start to shift the mindset from work as a duty to work as something else, and that's different for all of us individually. As leaders, it's about creating a connection between the individual contributors and the broader, meaningful goals of the organization. Another business case for make work meaningful in bulk is that burnout drops and productivity rises. People who feel valued and connected are less likely to burn out or coast through their roles. Remember, less burnout also means less turnover, and that is money saved. Creativity also thrives in meaningful work environments. People take calculated risks when they care about outcomes. Cultures built on meaning are breeding grounds for amazing, fresh new ideas. So retention isn't just about keeping people, it's about keeping the right people. Let me say that again. Retention is not just about keeping people, it's about keeping the right people. A meaningful work culture attracts and keeps top talent. It slashes recruitment costs, inefficiencies, and you invest in purpose and you watch your organization soar. So, stop treating culture like it's a side project. It is the frigging main event. Culture isn't something that you manage. It's what drives behavior. It's what drives decisions. And ultimately, it's what drives results for your organization. If you're not investing in culture, you're running on borrowed time. Culture creates a space for people to bring their best selves, and without that, you're just hiring bodies. You're not hiring talent. I also want you to leave with the notion that leadership isn't a title, it's a frigging obligation. So leaders should stop pretending that they have all of the answers and start showing that they care about the questions. Empathy is not a weakness. It's the strongest business tool that you will have, leading with your genuine needs, not just your KPIs. So remember, people don't follow titles, they follow authenticity. And if you're not growing your people, you're shrinking your business. So stop with the meaningless rewards and empty recognition. People don't want plaques, they want progress. Real development comes from seeing people who they are, not just what they produce. Buy my book, Make Work Meaningful, How to Create a Culture That Leaves a Legacy. It is your guidebook through your current job. When you move on, you take it with you to the next job. If your workplace is shitty, if things need to change, gift it to your leader, gift it to your executives. Hello, what an amazing Secret Santa gift if it is Christmas time when you're listening to this. Otherwise, buy the book, let me know how you go, and I would love to know what kind of questions you have, what kind of feedback you have, what kind of progress that you are making from the book. My details, as well as the book's details, are in the show notes. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's make work less shitty and more meaningful together. I will see you in the next episode. Over and out for now.
How good was that episode? If you liked it, be sure to share it with a couple of other people. Also in the show notes are details about my newsletter. Keep in touch. I send a newsletter out around once a month. It won't be spammy, it will be very practical. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn yet, we must be. Connect with me on LinkedIn. And on Instagram, I am Prina.Shah. I will see you somewhere else or in the next episode. Until then, goodbye.